welcome back to a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear, and then we discuss them over a cup of joe. And I'm Patrick M. Dunn. Perhaps you know me from the previous 90-something episodes. And I'm joined here, as always, by Catherine Halstead.
Catherine?
Cat.
You never call me Catherine. What the hey?
Every now and then I like to throw it out there just to keep things interesting.
Keep me on my toes.
Yeah, keep you on your toes. Sorry to offend by calling you by your full given name.
Nobody calls me Catherine, except for people at work.
And when you're writing like an ultimatum against somebody.
Well, they didn't want to use like a name, even though like my name is right there in the previous message.
What did they call you? Dear sir or madam? Or, I can't remember.
Yeah, I was like, excuse me, no, you little piss ants can call me Catherine, because that's my name.
Yeah, that's my name, bitch. Don't worry
And that's
about
the name you're gonna get if I ever have to call your asses and tell you to stop fucking with us. Because guess what, you fuckers?
Right.
If you fuck with us again, I will fucking destroy you.
Why are they coming? Like, are they coming after us again?
I don't think so, but I just like to put that warning out every so often just to keep them scared and on their own toes.
Oh, okay. Because I've been out of the.
Because I don't trust those fuckers.
I've been out of the loop for a little while. In case you're new to the show, someone in like March or April copied the name of our podcast in the same format, and we went on like a 4-month journey to get them to change their name, and it was a process.
Yeah, and they still say Facebook won't let them change the name of their page, and I'm like, bullshit.
I think that's true. I think you have to. I think it's like a fucking long ass process to actually change your name. Because I tried to do it one time for somebody because someone had someone created a Facebook page and they misspelled their name, and it wasn't like a personal page. It was like a page. Mm-hmm. And then they had, once you hit like a certain follower threshold, I think it's like 100 followers or something like that, you can't change the name of the page very easily. And so you don't do that thing where you try to sell the page.
Probably.
That's my theory anyway. But before I get into the podcast, I have some hot news.
Okay, what's this hot news?
Hot news for our listeners out there. All right. So Kat and I, we have both watched Stranger Things for the first time.
I think you're way further ahead into it than I am.
I've already finished it. I've already plowed through it. You're like 2 episodes in, right?
Yeah.
2 or 3.
2 episodes, that's it. It's like 1 episode a day, that's it.
That one a day?
It's not like making me want to watch it desperately.
I had that same effect, but I hit a certain point. I think I got to near the end of season 1, and then it just became a phenomenon for me. Season 2, I blew through in 2 sittings. So I think when you get to season 2, things will ramp up, Kat. Things will ramp up.
I don't know. I just feel like I've seen kind of this sort of thing on a soap opera before, so I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way watching season 1, but I definitely think things get interesting in season 2.
I'm like, I could watch General Hospital and get the same story right now, I feel like.
Well, you can watch General Hospital today and 10 years ago and get the same storyline.
Well, kind of, yeah.
But do you get Winona Ryder on General Hospital? No, you don't get Winona Ryder there.
No, I don't.
She's a national treasure.
Mermaids.
She deserves better.
Heathers.
She deserved better than what we made her go through in 2001 or 2002.
Went back in the Free Winona days.
Yeah, it's like all she did was she just took some fucking purses from Saks Fifth Avenue or something, and we shunned her. We pushed her out of Hollywood.
Yeah, she gets shunned for shoplifting.
And people do far worse, and they are allowed to be multimillionaires and have successful films and get a fucking TV series on Netflix, although that's been thwarted.
Well, some of them have lost their series.
Yeah, not Danny Masterson he's still
not yet.
Do you think it's coming? Do you think it's in the works?
But he's got the Church of Scientology protecting him. That's a problem. He's got the church protecting him. The church.
That's the gray area right there, is the Church of Scientology, because they're just tossing money into Netflix's pockets.
Or they're just scary.
We need Leah Remini to get out there and just fucking work the streets and just end it all for us right now.
Well, okay, to be fair, Leah Remini has an episode about the whole thing, but it's shelved because there is an ongoing investigation and she didn't want to intrude on that.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll have a conclusion to the story in the near future, and we can see this wonderful episode. I'm sure it's a great episode of Leah Remini.
I'm sure it'll be a fascinating episode if we ever get to see it.
Keep your eyes and ears peeled to A&E. All right. What are we doing today? What classic television series are we returning to? Are we going to for the first time, actually?
We're going to for the first time. We are going to dip into the world of growing pains.
Yes, this is our Halloween hangover episode where we're just like we're done with Halloween. It kind of wiped us out.
Always.
And we just kind of want to get back into something normal. And the best way to like transition into it is with a dream sequence episode, which is something we've done every year since the podcast started.
It was never intentional.
Okay,
last year it was intentional.
Yeah, last year was intentional.
We did Golden Girls.
Well, we did, the very first year we did Elf, and it ended up being a dream sequence episode. And then by accident, we did Day by Day. They had a crossover with the Brady Bunch.
Which was also a dream sequence.
Yep. And then, like, purposely last year, we did a dream sequence episode of the Golden Girls. And tonight, we're doing a dream sequence episode of Growing Pains, in which the episode's called This Is Your Life. Mm-hmm. And Ben Seaver has an out-of-body experience when he undergoes a tonsillectomy, of all things.
Lucky little bastard.
So there's going to be anesthesia involved, and there's going to be doctors and nurses, and, I don't know, just general weird shit, like weird anesthesia dreams.
Like a cab driver who knows where you already live.
Yes, 50 in Robin Hood Lane. Shout out to Robin Hood Lane.
Yes.
Do you think Robin Hood, they used the word name Robin because of Robin Thicke?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I kind of thought it might have been a tie-in. Maybe Alan Thicke was like, hey, maybe we should, I don't want to call it Robin Thicke Lane, but maybe we can call it Robin Hood Lane. Maybe that was like his young nickname when he was a youngin'. Maybe they called him Robin Hood.
Well, producers didn't even want Alan Thicke to audition for the role of Jason Seaver.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have anyone in mind?
Because at this point, he was mostly known as, like, a talk show host from Canada, and they're like, why do we want this Canada guy? Like, no. But, like, nobody else who auditioned, like, Bruce Willis was right for the part. And yes, Bruce Willis auditioned for the role of Jason.
That would have been weird.
Like, let's just, like, take a moment to unpack that. Bruce Willis auditioned for the role of Jason Seaver.
I just closed my eyes for a second and I just tried to picture 7 years of Growing Pains with Bruce Willis. They're probably like, it would have been a different world. We probably would have never gotten like Die Hard.
Yeah.
Or Unbreakable or any of those like wacky Bruce Willis movies. 12 Monkeys.
Exactly.
It would have been a whole new world. I don't know.
He might not have married Demi Moore and we wouldn't have their weird little kids running around.
Yeah, Rumor and...
Rumor. I'm not a fan of Rumor. I just think she's just annoying.
I haven't heard much from her lately. What you been up to? She's been out of the rumor mill.
I don't know. A crap ton of plastic surgery.
She was on Dancing with the Stars a few years back, I think.
Yeah, she won Dancing with the Stars. She wasn't that good.
She won it?
Yeah.
My girl Rumor went all the way?
Yes.
Oh, damn. Okay. Shout out to Rumor Willis then for taking home the trophy. Do you get a trophy on Dancing with the Stars? I don't know what you get.
You get the Mirror Ball trophy.
And that's it? You just get the clout? You don't get like anything else?
If you're lucky, you get more jobs. Like, okay, can we be real? Mario Lopez's career was pretty much like dead.
Oh yeah, he was on the OG or one of the first few ones, right?
He was on like season 2, I think.
Did he win it, or was he just good?
No, he didn't. Were he and Joey? I can't remember right now, but I think he and Joey Lawrence were on like the same season.
Oh, it was like Clash of the Teen Titans.
Yeah, they were all around the same. Like, so season 2 or season 3, Joey Lawrence, Mario Lopez, Joey Fatone, those guys, they were all on it in those early years, and they weren't doing much before that, and then they did Dancing with the Stars, and they all started doing a lot more.
Yeah, Joey Fatone became like the announcer on Family Feud, I think.
Yeah.
He's the announcer on Family Feud, right?
I honestly don't know. I
think he is.
Joey Fatone is like all over the place.
Where is it? I never see him anywhere.
He just pops up in all these places that I'm just like, oh, it's Joey Fatone. Okay. Just makes sense. Like, you see Joey Fatone way more than you see Lance Bass or JC Chazé. And definitely more than you see Chris Kirkpatrick. Everybody like jokes that Chris is just hanging out in a basement in Florida because you never see him.
Chris Kirkpatrick was the one like the weird dreads, right?
Yeah.
That's why he's in a weird basement right now somewhere, because he is the one that had red dreads. But I feel like I see Lance Bass more than I see Joey Fatone. Like, give me one example of where you saw Joey Fatone recently. Besides Twitter.
No, it wasn't on Twitter. Like, he just shows up at, like, all these, like, event things and TV specials and stuff.
All right. Well, we must be watching the different things because I feel like
We probably are watching different things.
I feel like I can't go...
Lance is pretty, like... I would say you see Justin the most, and then Joey and Lance are probably about the same. They kind of both have fluctuating things where one you'll see pop up more than the other at times. And then you see just JC.
But doesn't Lance have, like, a radio show that's on daily?
Maybe. I don't know.
He has, like, that Sirius show or a podcast or a YouTube thing or something. Like, I feel like I always hear people online going, oh, I'm going to be on Lance today. And here you are, like, saying that he's nowhere. And Joey... I have not seen Joey Fatone. I couldn't even tell you... If I saw him in Walmart tomorrow, I wouldn't even recognize him. I'd just walk right by him. We might do a head nod to each other. He'd be, like, carrying some... I don't know, Frito-Lay chips or something. We'd do a head nod to each other. I'm like, I know that dude. Maybe we used to work with each other a few years back. And then I would hear, like, a shrieking girl around the corner and, like, oh, my God, it's Joey Fatone! And I'd be like, where?
It wouldn't be a shrieking girl. It'd be a shrieking woman in her 30s.
Yeah, that's true. It would be Kat Halstead. Like, the Myrtle Beach equivalent of Kat Halstead. She'd be shrieking that she saw Joey Fatone. And I would, like, run up to Joey Fatone and be like, hey, where's Joey Fatone? All right. I never knew the pronunciation of his name, so I always just thought it was Joey Fat One.
I think there was an announcer who accidentally called him that once, because they didn't know how to pronounce him.
Are you sure it wasn't me?
Yes, I'm sure it wasn't you.
That would be me if I was the announcer on Dancing with the Stars, and I'd be like, and now, doing the cha-cha, it's Joey Fat One. And I'd probably get this, like, hiss and boo from the audience. Then I would, like, my career would be over after that. I would be, like, kicked off the show. I'd have to do an apology tweet with, like, the notes screen cap.
Yeah.
Put it on all my social medias, and I don't know. It would be a bad day. It would be a dark day in Hollywood for Patrick M. Dunn.
It would be.
So, shall we talk about what was on this night of television?
Yeah, tell me what was on the night this aired. What was on?
All right. It's almost the anniversary of this episode. It's almost the 30th year. This episode aired on November 17th, 1987. We are like a week and some days off of this.
Oh my gosh, that is wild.
Yes. So this episode aired on a Tuesday. Growing Pains was a Tuesday night fixture at this point. It hadn't been ushered off to Saturday nights yet, which I think is where it lived for its like final season or two.
Yeah, the final.
Things kick off with ABC. You want to hear what was on ABC?
Obviously.
All right, 8 p.m. Who's the Boss? The classic Tony Danza sitcom where he portrays the role of widower Tony Maselli, who is a former baseball player who was forced to retire due to a shoulder injury. He wants to move out of Brooklyn to find a better environment for his daughter Samantha, played by the wonderful Alyssa Milano, and he ends up taking a job in upscale Fairfield, Connecticut as a live-in housekeeper for a divorce advertising exec, Angela Bauer, and her son Jonathan. Early reviews of this series were lukewarm. Jerry Buck, who's a writer for the Ocala Star-Banner, noted that while the series doesn't have the same impact as The Cosby Show, it's not bad, but it's not great, is what he had to say.
I mean, the early season, like the first season's definitely rocky. Like, they're trying to figure out what they're doing.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is for every sitcom, pretty much. Because, like, sitcoms are hard to kick off.
Yeah.
Like, there's things that work, things that don't work. Sometimes there's like extra characters. Sometimes there's like a recurring role that is like a hot hit, like Urkel, and he becomes the center of attention.
Yeah.
You know, they're just trying to find the groove.
Yeah, trying to find the groove, trying to figure out like what the actual situation is for these people.
Yeah, and then they do
how everybody connects.
Yeah, and you don't know how, like, you don't know what the chemistry is going to be like between some of the potential love interests. So like it could be there, it couldn't be there, and they slowly figured it out though, and I think it had a successful run.
Yes, it did.
It was a syndication dream house in my household, I'll tell you that. I watched it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And
we watched it all the time too.
Yeah, and I just loved yelling Mona.
Love Mona.
Mona. I know, but I miss Tony Danza though. I wish he would be in more things.
Yeah, but he's like an actual teacher now.
He's a teacher?
Or something like that. I think so.
Like of automotive? Like what? What does he teach?
No, like an actual like high school teacher, I think.
Like English teacher or math teacher or something?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Hold on, I'm going to Google it.
All right. Yeah, I'm like, I need to know more. Tell me more about this, Kat Halstead.
Come on, Google, hurry up. Come on. I don't know why it's so slow.
I found the information. He's a 10th grade English teacher at a Northeast high school in Philadelphia.
He went and he taught for a year.
I think that's where he used to go.
I think it was for he did a reality show about it.
Yeah, and I'm sure 10th graders today, they don't really know who he is, so it's not like, hey, Tony.
No, they probably had no clue who he was. They're like, you kind of look like that guy from that one show.
Yeah, and it's not like it's widely syndicated today, so I don't know. Like, the students' moms and dads might know who he is. And like, oh my god, your dad's Tony Danza? Like, I'm going to parent-teacher conference this weekend.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready for ABC 8:30?
Yes, 8:30. What's on?
Growing Pains, Ooga. We'll talk about it shortly.
They really were like a block of TV together, weren't they?
Yeah, it was just such a wild night. All right, are you ready for 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, give it to me.
All right, we were just talking about him earlier. Moonlighting with Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd as private detectives. The show was a mixture of drama, comedy, and romance. Ooh. And was considered to be one of the first successful and influential examples of a comedy drama, or a dramedy, which was just emergent as a distinct television genre around this time. So, I don't know, wild things were happening in the world of television.
Yes, and this is like one of those shows that had the first like major will they, won't they aspect to it.
Yes, and then they finally got them together, and then things just kind of like fizzled out after that, right?
Yeah.
The show just quickly went away.
And Bruce and Sybil didn't get along and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of background shenanigans, so I don't know. We might have to track down an episode of Moonlighting, and maybe we can investigate a little further. See what
we'll have to find more.
See what caused a rift between Bruce and Sybil.
Dun dun dun.
All right, are you ready for ABC 10 p.m.?
Yes, give it to me.
Do you have any guesses? This was a big show in the 80s.
Dynasty.
No, 30-something. 30-something.
Oh, 30-something. Ugh.
Tells the story of baby boomers living in their 30s who reside in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and examines how this group of friends learned to negotiate their prior involvement with the early 70s counterculture as young adults, in contrast to the yuppie lifestyle which dominated the American culture during the 1980s. So I don't know, we have like a lot of clashing going on, a lot of culture clashing. I've never actually seen 30-something. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I remember it was something like my mom watched, and it always bored me, and I would fall asleep. So I think she put it on just to put me to sleep.
I'd probably watch it now, but
I heard it's actually like just really boring.
It just seemed like a really like adult show. Like I definitely watched things like Dallas and Dynasty. I dabbled in those as a child. That seemed fun and exciting to me, but I don't know. Like 30-something looked different for some reason. It like looked older. I don't know. Maybe it was like more serious and not like silly. I don't know. I can't.
I just remember being like, all they do is sit around and talk.
But now I would totally like eat that up. I'm like, oh my god, did you see 30-something last night?
Do you realize we are 30-something?
That's what I was gonna say. Like we talking about the same thing. We like worried about bills and stuff.
Oh my god.
Who's gonna pay the phone bill this weekend?
Ugh.
All right. Are you ready for CBS?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
All right. I have never heard of this show. Houston Nights. It was on at 8 p.m.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. This was the core of the series is the partnership between two very different cops from two different cultures. You have a Chicago cop played by actor Michael Paré, I guess is his name. He is transferred to Houston after he kills a mobster from a powerful mafia family, and a contract hit is put out on him. Once he gets to Houston, he is partnered with Levin Lundy, played by Michael Beck, the grandson of a Texas Ranger. So I'm guessing, I don't know, I guess it's like kind of like a Midwest Northern guy goes to Texas, and I don't know, he's adjusting to the Texas lifestyle, and it's hot.
If you're running from a mob boss, because why would you go and be a cop somewhere else?
I'm sure if this show had worked and was a big hit, we would have found out the answer, but I think it was canceled very quickly.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so sorry, Houston Nights. No one has thought about you in decades until right now, when Patrick and Kat briefly mentioned you on their wildly popular podcast. All right. Are you ready for 9 p.m., CBS 9 p.m.?
Yes, give it to me.
All right, we've talked about this a lot of times. Jake and the Fat Man! With
dun, dun, dun.
Starring William Conrad and Joe Penny. Apparently this show was like all the rage. It ran for 5 seasons, and you don't hear too much about it these days unless you listen to this podcast, because like we always talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it just seems to be on every time we do a show from the 80s for some reason.
I guess it really is. What's up with that?
I don't know. We might have to track down an episode and see what the rage was all about.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So add it to the list. Are you ready for CBS 10 p.m.?
Yes, give it to me.
All right. This is wild. This is a wild, wild show. It was only on for 16 episodes. The Law and Harry McGraw. Are you familiar with this?
No, but I love the title.
Okay, this show starred a pre-Law and Order Jerry Orbach, and it was a spin-off of, are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Murder, She Wrote!
What?
Yes, the series stars Jerry Orbach as a loudmouth, uncouth, old-school private detective who continuously finds himself solving mysteries on behalf of the prim and proper attorney, played by Barbara Babcock, who has an office across the hall from him. After the show was canceled, Orbach appeared in a few more episodes of Murder, She Wrote, and then he got casted as Lenny Briscoe in Law & Order, and we all know how that turns out.
Yes, it's Orbach.
Yes, but I didn't even know Murder, She Wrote had a spinoff. Like, were you aware of this?
I feel like we maybe talked about this in the Murder, She Wrote episode.
We probably did, but that was like more than a year ago, and I don't even remember what we talked about last week, so...
We will finish this, and I will not remember what we talked about.
Until it comes out, and you're like, oh shit, I don't even remember.
And then, yeah, when I listen to it, I'm like, oh god, why did I let Patrick say that?
Well, I was saying something the other day. Oh, right after I watched this episode of Growing Pains, I texted you, and I was like, oh my god, Alan Hale, who plays the skipper on Gilligan's Island's in this. And you're like, yeah, we talked about that when we selected this episode. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about it. Are you ready for NBC?
Yes, what was on NBC this night?
All right. I only have the listen for one thing. It was part 2 of a TV movie. I guess the thrilling conclusion of The Poor Little Rich Girl, the Barbara Hutton story.
Okay.
Based on C. David Haven's bestseller, it tells about the unhappy life, loves, and substance abuse of one of the wealthiest women in the world, the Woolworths heiress who married, among others, Cary Grant. It starred Farrah Fawcett, I guess she played Barbara Hutton, and your favorite actor of all time, James Reed.
Ooh, James Reed.
Yeah, so if you listen to one of our podcasts a few episodes back, Kat was getting a little like hot and heavy over the prospect of James Reed.
Shut up.
We had the little like horny devil ear emoji from Kat that day. There was like a few people we were talking about. There was like a few actors that were like getting you all like.
Yeah, we're not gonna lie. You could go back to like the last like maybe 10-ish episodes, and there's always like this moment where I'm like, ooh, hello.
Yeah, you can like hear the tension. You're like, ooh, like you can.
So yeah.
That's everything that I have. Do you have anything to add on the Barbara Hutton story? Do you know much about her?
No, I have not found the full thing. I found like a trailer.
Oh, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna watch the Barbara Hutton story. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure like you're trying to find it because of James Reed. You're like, ooh, I want to see what James Reed looks like in '87.
I have a good idea of what he looked like in '87.
You have a sketching of him hanging on your wall of him in 1987.
No, there's nothing on my wall.
We should commission if any of our listeners out there is like a good portrait artist, we should have someone commission you a portrait, like a painting of 1987 James Reed and send it to Kat. We'll set up a P.O. box and you can send it to her.
Oh my god.
Hashtag send Kat a care package.
Yeah, you're gonna send me a weird care package one day.
I have one en route. I don't know if it's gotten there yet.
Oh, it has definitely not gotten here yet.
All right. Are you ready to grow some pain?
Yes, let's grow some pains.
All right. I think you should take us off. How does this episode begin?
Okay, so the Seavers are having dinner. They're having Chinese food. Ben is nervous as heck because the next day he's going to go get his tonsils out, the lucky little guy.
Yeah, poor little dude. I guess they let him pick the dinner that night. Is that what I gathered? Like,
yeah, they let him pick the dinner because it's like, after you get your tonsils out, I guess you can't really like eat solid food for a few days.
Yeah, you probably just gotta eat like ice cream and shit. And,
ice cream or Jell-O and stuff like that. I don't know because all my doctors refuse to take out my ginormous tonsils.
Oh, why?
I don't know, because they're like, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, because I looked into this, so like I feel like in the 80s and like even the 90s, like tonsillectomies, like tonsil removals were like the rage. I feel like kids were always out of school, everyone was always getting their tonsils out. Now it's like you never hear about it anymore. Like, it's very, you have to be like sick, like have like inflamed tonsillitis, like 5 or 6 times in like a year or 2 year span before they'll even think about taking them out.
I did, and they still refuse to take mine out.
Really? I don't know. Maybe
yes.
Maybe there's like a weird nerve or something wrapped around your tonsil. I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is like when I was a kid, my mom was like, "Well, what about getting her tonsils taken out?" And like 3 different doctors, she asked like 3 different ones. They're like, "Oh, we don't do that anymore." And she's like, "She's been in here like This is the 4th time in 3 months.
I have
like, come on, guys.
I don't know, like conspiracy corner. I like low key think that is it a necessary thing to do? I don't know. Like,
yeah. You want to know? Mine are like golf ball size.
Has it affected your life in any way?
Probably, yeah. Like mine are huge. I've like I lose my voice all the time. And
do you gargle with salt water and stuff to try to?
Yeah, I do all that crap.
I don't know.
Like when I had mono, I was so dehydrated. I had to go get an IV drip to rehydrate because everything had swollen so large.
Oh, I remember between the ages of like 7 and 13 or something, I was like the king of strep throats. Like I always had strep throat, and I remember the doctors brought up taking out my tonsils, and I lost my shit. I pulled a Ben Seaver in this episode, and I fought it. And I think my mother was like, "Fine, like if you're 13 or if you're a teenager and you're still having this problem, then you're definitely getting your tonsils done." And I was like, "Deal." And then, like, all of a sudden, like, I just stopped getting strep throats. Like, I might occasionally get a sore throat, but I think it's just mostly from, like, dehydration and not an illness, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just said that, so I'll probably get, like, tonsillitis tomorrow.
I'm going to get a DM from Patrick tomorrow. I have tonsillitis.
Yeah, sorry. We have to, like, put the podcast on hold for 2 weeks because I have tonsillitis. I can't talk. I gotta get a tonsillectomy. Dude,
I'd be so jealous if you got your tonsils out.
I know. I would send tweets of me in like the hospital in my hospital gown. I'd be giving the thumbs up. Hey gang, I got my tonsils out.
Yeah.
I feel like you would put like an ice pack or like frozen peas like on your throat. Is that something that you would do? I don't know.
I don't know. Like the few people I know who have had their tonsils out, they just like have ice cream and Jell-O for a couple days, and then they're fine.
Yeah, they just take like 4 or 5 days off school, and then they come back, and you ask them like, "Oh, like what was it like going under anesthesia?" And they just tell you they don't remember anything, and you're like secretly jealous. You're like, you know what? I kind of want to go under anesthesia.
Yeah. So,
I want to like go to sleep for like days. I don't know. I like even
and have a wild dream.
Even though I was scared
of getting skipper is my taxi driver.
Even though I was scared of a tonsillectomy, like I low key just wanted to be like out of school for 5 days. So like I always would like fantasize. I was like, maybe I should get my tonsils out. But then I would think of like them like sticking knives and like scalpels in my neck and stuff, and I started to get scared.
But like, how did they actually like? When you think about it, your mouth's not that big. And they're sticking stuff in there, and they're cutting stuff off. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, I had no idea of like what a tonsillectomy actually entailed. It's like I thought they would just like take your neck skin off and like go through and then like stitch it back up.
Yeah, like how did they do it?
I didn't know ever thought they like went through your mouth. I don't know. I was a dumb child. I'm still a dumb child.
Well, nobody explains how it's done.
Alan Thicke starts to explain it. Dr. Jason Seaver, the psychiatrist.
Yes.
We get a lot of mansplaining from him in this episode. It's great.
Well, it was the 80s.
One thing I want to point out, there's 2 things I want to point out from this kitchen scene. One, there is a vintage gumball machine in the background in the Seaver kitchen. Did you notice that?
Yes.
It's very distracting. Every time they show it, I'm like, why the fuck do they have a gumball machine in their kitchen? Like,
why do you think I've always wanted a gumball machine?
Was it because of the Seavers?
Yes.
I don't know. It goes with nothing. They have all this nice decor, and then they just have like a gumball machine in there, and it's not even filled.
It's probably like that weird thing like Jason's parents gave them, but they have to keep out because they could just pop in.
Yeah,
you know?
Like, where's the gumball machine, Jason? And he's like, Mom, Dad,
exactly.
The glass broke. I'm getting it repaired. But it's not even functional. There's no gumballs in it because I looked closely. I did like a freeze frame and I looked. So it's just...
That is weird.
Maybe someone like the set decorator just loved gumball machines and was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw this gumball machine
It's the 80s. Let's just put a gumball machine in there. Nobody will notice.
And then I want to do a quick fashion corner. Everyone except for Maggie had awesome 80s sweaters on.
Yes.
This whole like family had awesome 80s sweaters. Mike's Kirk Cameron's character Mike had the best, I think, out of all of them.
Yeah, I liked his.
He had like a baby blue with like little like puffy whites and stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie's though, the mom Maggie, I kind of liked her style in this episode. She wore this like very casual button down plaid shirt. It was like a red plaid like fashion flannel, and she had it tucked in. She had it tucked into like high-rise slacks or something. And she's a reporter? Is that what Maggie does?
Yes, Maggie is a on-air reporter for a local TV station at this point.
Yeah.
Jason's doing his stuff out of the house, his therapy sessions out of the office on the first floor.
Yeah, there's something about the 80s and letting doctors like run their practices out of their homes that strikes me odd for some reason.
Well, it's just so like novel that Jason worked from home. Even though we already had like Cliff working from home on the Cosby Show, there it was more like it was actually like a separate part of the house on the Cosby Show than like right off the living room on the Growing Pains.
So Jason conducts his therapy sessions like pretty much in a room connected to the living room.
Yeah, it's just off the living room.
So imagine, you need to see like a psychiatrist. Your life is in shambles. You just need some help and guidance. You go see Dr. Jason Seaver, and you pull up to his house, 15 Robin Hood Lane. You get out of your car. Mm-hmm. You're going like you open like a picket fence gate, the white picket fence. You like knock on his door. Yeah. I don't know, like Ben answers the door. This is little like 8-9-year-old kid. He's playing Super Vito Brothers, I guess, which is supposed to be the Mario Brothers. Like they couldn't say Mario Brothers in this episode for some reason. He's like in the living room playing that. It's loud. His buddy's over. Mike's probably there. Boner's probably there. Carol's probably there, like arguing with them. And you're just like in a room off of this and listening to that, like while you're like,
yeah,
oh, my mom, like suppressed me all these years, and now I'm an adult and I can barely function, and I'm afraid I'm turning into my mother. And then meanwhile, you hear like Mike yelling boner and stuff like over and over again.
Oh my god, their friends had like the best nicknames. I was always sad that I never had a friend with the nickname Boner or Stinky or anything like that.
There's a scene coming up later that we'll get to it, but they say something pretty racy in this episode. And in the first 30 seconds, they say two racy things, I think.
Yes.
Mike opens up his fortune cookie.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like speaking aloud. He's like, okay, what will Mike Seaver's fortune read? He cheerfully says it as he rips the plastic packaging off his fortune cookie. And he's like, will it be fortune or will it be fame? And Carol interrupts and she's like, or clear skin. And then Mike just he opens up his fortune cookie and it says like, every dog will have its day. And then he's like, oh, sorry, Carol, I think I got your fortune cookie. Like implying that she's like an ugly ass dog.
Yeah, he was always making jokes at Carol's expense.
And that's
kind of what led to the whole Tracy Gold anorexia thing.
Yeah, I guess, so this is a season 3 episode. During season 4, I guess they ramped up, like, the Carol is fat jokes.
Yeah, and she wasn't.
Like, it seemed like, the normal, like, brother-sister dynamic is, you're gonna say jokey things to each other. Like, you might call your sister ugly or a dog or, like, fat or something. But, you don't really mean it. Like, that's, like, the brother-sister dynamic. But you have these, like, writers that are just, like, basically have the brother characters calling the sister character like fat all the time. As an actress, like these aren't your real brother and sister. So, and it's just like these writers are putting these words into those characters' mouths. Like now you're thinking like, do the writers think I'm fat? Oh my god! And she's probably like looking in the mirror and just getting very body dysmorphic.
Like she was already kind of what I was reading last night. She was already kind of just fully okay with her body, and then this just kind of amped everything up.
Yeah, and she was probably, 15, 16, 17 at the height of all this?
Yeah.
Which is a fucking tough time to be alive. Let's just throw that out there.
Mm-hmm. And then, she goes and, she tried to get help, but all that, the group did really was teach her more ways to lose weight and not eat.
Yes, so she became...
And then she got suspended from the show during the final season because she was too thin, and she had to go to treatment.
Yeah, so I think it said at her lowest weight was about 80 pounds. She looked very, very frail and ill. The producers...
Yeah, that's insane, 80 pounds. Whoa.
And, I mean, she was a small woman to begin with. Like, she didn't...
Yeah, she's a tiny girl.
And... I don't know, the producers suspended her from the show. There was, a episode of, it was, 5 or 6 episode run, where she is in it. And then they just brought her back for, the final one, because I guess they couldn't end the show without her in it.
Yeah, and they, put, a bunch of bulky clothes on her, so you still couldn't tell, she was skinny as hell.
Very, very unfortunate for Tracy Gold. And I don't know. I think it kind of ruined her career, I think. 'Cause, I mean, she steadily works here and there, but she...
Well, she definitely went and did a ton of TV movies.
A string of TV movies. I think she makes appearances and stuff on other things here and there, but it's not It's not
occasionally.
It's not like they ever gave her another show or anything.
Yeah, she did Battle of the Network Stars this summer, and she didn't say anything in the entire episode.
It's like she was just in it.
Like she was there, she like competed in some stuff, but like they never interviewed her or anything, so it was so weird.
Well,
it's like I'm watching it, and Tracy Gold has said nothing.
I think there were just too many people on that.
Maybe
the show didn't do too well. Let's just throw that out there. And you had
it was missing a few key elements.
I was excited for it. I thought it would be like wonderful, and it turned out to be a dud. And
it was missing the fun. Like they would show the clips from like the 70s and 80s, and you could just like the energy was just different.
Yes,
because they had the actual like live audience and all that, and then this time it's just like there's nobody watching.
Yeah, and
they're just like doing the stuff.
I mean, they had some good names on there, but I feel like they could have tried to get like bigger names. I think maybe like a bigger draw. Like Misha Barton was there, I think.
Yeah, Misha did it. Because Misha does anything.
Yeah, that girl will do anything. Here's $20, Misha Barton. Do you want to do like a walk-on Me, Myself, and I, the now canceled Bobby Moynihan series?
I told you that show was going to get canceled.
And she was like, sure. And they're like, it's canceled. It's only going to be on CBS All Access. Like 5 people are going to see this. She's like, nah, I'll do it. I don't care. I need to buy a pack of cigs. One thing I do want to throw out here about this Carol and Mike thing. So after Mike does like the Carol, you're a dog joke, she kind of like throws back like a homophobic slur against him.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd. So she opens up her fortune cookie and she's like, "Oh, I must have yours then because this one says a handsome gentleman will ask for your hand." And it like the studio audience went nuts for this.
Damn 80s.
Yeah, I don't know. And then like who would have thought the Growing Pains was so racy?
Yeah, well, actually, you know what? It actually kind of was before Kirk got all Christy.
Pretty much for most of his life, Kirk Cameron was an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, what was it like around like when he was like 18 years old, he had he became like a born again Christian.
Born again, yeah.
And didn't he like fire? He got someone fired on Growing Pains?
He got the story is he got Julie McCullough fired.
She was like the nanny or something.
She played the nanny. She played Mike's love interest. They were engaged, and she had done Playboy.
Oh yeah.
And Kirk was not okay with that.
Nudity is a no-no, everybody.
And the story is he got her fired, but then there's also like they try to like say, oh, she was just a recurring character. It was just supposed to be one arc. Julie was never meant to be the one for Mike. Trying to cover their asses.
And then Kirk like insisted that they bring in his then girlfriend. Was it Chelsea?
Yes.
What's her name?
Chelsea Noble Cameron.
Chelsea Noble. And then she went on to be on. She was on Kirk, the WB series, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I'm like pretty sure.
Because he can only like kiss her on screen. He can't like kiss other women.
Okay. Did he have her come on Left Behind? I've never seen them, so I can't answer that.
I feel like I read something where maybe she didn't actually play the love interest, but he filmed the kissing scene with her and they like edited it or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I feel like I read that.
Oh.
Yeah. I feel like it was just some really stupid thing I read.
You're just spitballing here. What about like his 2015-ish movie, Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas?
Oh my god, you mean like the worst movie ever?
Shout out to Kirk Cameron and his post-Growing Pains career.
Okay, guys, this is what I want to know. I want to know what you think an alternate universe is like where Kirk Cameron did not get all born again. What kind of career did he have?
I think he would have, Growing Pains would have ended. He would have had maybe like a string of like early 90s comedies, kind of like that one, like that Like Father, Like Son that he did. He would have things like that. Mm-hmm. And then he'd probably roll back into a sitcom because obviously the WB is not the best place to launch a sitcom.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe like ABC might give him another shot. Like maybe in like 99 he might have done something.
Yeah, I feel like he would have had a string of like successful little sitcoms where like you see him grow. Like he'd be the goofy like older brother taking care of the kids, his younger siblings kind of thing, like on Kirk. But then there's another one where he's like a little older. It's more like a rom-com where he gets together with the girl. It's like a few seasons will they won't they kind of thing.
Yeah, I think he'd be on like a modest hit, like something like A Quarter to Jim, which is not wildly popular, but like popular enough to hit syndication.
Yeah, or like a King of Queens or like a Kevin Can Wait sort of thing. Like I could see him very much in a Kevin Can Wait sort of show.
I could see him and Courtney Thorne-Smith on a sitcom together for some reason. I don't know why.
I could totally see that too.
Like they'd be like coworkers, and I don't know. She might I could see her being the boss, and then he's underneath her, and then they kind of develop this like close relationship.
You mean like Peter Brady and his boss on A Very Brady Christmas?
Yes. So if anyone's listening to this out there, if you can reconvert Kirk Cameron back to atheism, then try to swoop him up with Courtney Thorne-Smith and get him on like a fun new sitcom. I don't know.
Yeah.
ABC. If you listen to this podcast, ABC, give us a tweet.
Yes.
We'll spitball. All right. So anywho, after this little melee between Carol and Mike, Papa Jason breaks it up. He then I guess it's Ben's turn to read his fortune cookie, but he nervously asks.
Yeah. I love that he takes the cookie and he smashes it against his head.
Oh, yeah. He cracks off his forehead and just, like, shatters all over the table.
Mm-hmm.
But before he opens the cookie, he nervously asks, what makes a tonsillectomy a minor surgery? And by golly, Papa Jason has got the dad jokes because he says, because you're the patient and you're a minor, so it's minor surgery. And he, like, laughs at his own joke. It's great. He's like the best. He's like, you know, when you have like a friend that has like a weird, funny dad that just has horrible jokes.
Yeah.
That's Papa Jason right there.
One of our favorite TV dads ever.
But then Ben then cracks open his fortune cookie in the way you just said, and his fortune cookie is blank. There's nothing on there.
I just want to be like, Ben, turn it over. I bet you just have the blank side. Because he didn't check.
I've gotten a blank fortune cookie one time before, though. Like, I've opened up...
Yeah, I got a blank one once, too.
So I guess, like, the printer fucked up, the printer jammed, or, I don't know, they just didn't...
They just weren't paying attention and put a blank slip in.
Yeah, so... It's the last night that Ben has his tonsils, and he just is like, all right, I just kind of want to play video games with Mike. Mike's got to study for a test with Boner. Carol's gonna do some studying. He just wants someone to play Super Vito Brothers with.
Yeah, like he wants to hang out with his siblings.
Yeah, and they're just like piecing the fuck out.
Yeah,
and Papa Jason's like, all right, I'll hang out with you. We can play some Super Vito. We can get some Super Vito action. But I guess Jason sucks at video games, so Ben's like, never mind. I'll just go upstairs and sulk.
Yeah, like Jason's just too easy to beat. You know, it's not fun. It's not like a challenge like if playing with Mike would be. Or even Carol.
He's going to be like, how do you jump? How do you go back? How do you, like, what does this do?
Exactly.
What does this mushroom do? Like, oh, you mean you're supposed to jump on top of those things? It's just a waste of time. So poor Ben has to, I don't know, go upstairs and cry. I don't know. Like, I don't know what he did that night.
Probably just, like, went upstairs and watched Gilligan's Island reruns.
Probably. But we don't know what happened because we get a quick cutscene to him in the hospital. We get this like dramatic hospital music as Ben is being wheeled into surgery. Papa Jason is swinging his dick around the hospital and he's like mansplaining like what intravenous tubes are and that they're used to feed healthy fluids into the body.
Like, I get that he's trying to calm Ben down, but it's so cheesy.
He's like going way overboard. And then he like calls the doctor over and he's like, hey, Dr. Marquise. He's like, can you explain to Ben like what this does? And I think it's just freaking Ben out even more.
Yeah, it's just like, it's making Ben more nervous than he needs to be.
And the doctor's even like, oh, you're afraid of the old snip snip?
Okay, can I be honest? When I think of snip snip, I don't think tonsils. I think of vasectomy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, oh, like imagine like they fucked up. Like the doctor's like, oh, I thought like he was getting like a prepubescent vasectomy for some reason.
Oh my god. Oh, poor Ben.
Poor Ben. Doesn't know what he's getting himself into. I do want to point out though, we have like there's a fun nurse in this episode.
I love the nurse.
Yeah, I want like a spin-off with the fun nurse. So I looked her up. So the fun nurse is played by an actress named Sachiko.
Mm-hmm.
She has some IMDb credits. Like she's never done anything of note, but she did appear in a 2012 episode of House, an episode of Seventh Heaven, and she also played a nurse again in an episode of Becker. So shout out to Ted Danson. And being a nurse again.
Oh, Ted Danson. I love you, Ted Danson.
But there's a point where I guess Jason and the doctor turn around to talk for a minute. And I don't know, like Maggie slips over and talks to them too. Mm-hmm. So Ben tries to escape. He tries to escape off the bed.
The gurney.
The gurney. That's the word I was looking for.
You work in a hospital. You should know what this is called.
I know, but it just wasn't in my head for some reason. So he's trying to escape from the gurney. He's trying to get the arms off. He's all like connected to it, so he can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And the fun nurse runs over, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. And she's like, it's too late. Now you have to go on this. And she pulls up the little like portable urinal. And he's like, never mind. And he's like, I'm not peeing in front of everybody.
He's like, I am not going in that jug.
Yeah, he's like, nope, not happening. I'll wait till after surgery.
Or you'll just pee yourself during surgery.
Then we get like a little more Jason mansplaining again. Then he like comes over and starts explaining like what anesthesia is. And it's just...
Like, I get that he really is just trying to, like, calm Ben down, but it's just not working.
And then he starts doing that reverse psychology where he's like, buck up, son, show him what you're made of, be a Seaver. He's like, Seavers face their problems head on.
And Ben doesn't want to be a Seaver anymore.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this. He's like, I want my tonsils. My tonsils are a Seaver too. They're a part of me. And I don't know, I don't want them to be in like a weird medical waste basket.
Yeah.
I want them inside me. I want to live an inflamed life. All I need in this life of sin is me and my tonsils. Then the episode takes a weird twist.
Dun dun dun.
We cut to the OR, the operating room. Ben has now been administered the anesthesia, and the doctor is like, you know what? You know what's a fun way to slip into an anesthesia haze is just to name your favorite TV shows. And he starts naming like everything that's like on ABC.
Who's the boss?
He's like,
Moonlighting, that funny show Between the Two. You know what I'm talking about. It's got the cute little kid on it.
Yes, a little meta joke. I loved it. It was great. And then we hear like the studio audience like cracking the fuck up over that.
Yeah.
Then we kind of get like the camera like pans out for a second. Ben springs out of the bed. The doctor and the nurse, they turn around for a minute just to, I don't know, prepare their medical equipment. And he springs out of the bed. He runs into the hallway. And everyone can see his bum through the back of his gown.
Because of course.
Yeah, so he's like, now he's embarrassed and he's like trying to get away from people. He doesn't want people to see his ass. And then he bumps into a crazy cab driver played by Alan Hale, who played the skipper on Gilligan's Island. He's basically wearing the skipper attire, except that he has like a jacket and like a cab driver hat on.
Yeah, like his hat just says taxi.
Is that like a real hat that taxi drivers wear?
I don't think so, but it's a lot like the hat the skipper would wear with the anchor on it, or the wheel, or whatever was on it.
Yeah, I got the impression that they probably didn't want him to wear the skipper hat, but they want him to wear some kind of hat, and maybe they just wrote the word taxi on it.
So the taxi driver takes Ben, gets him in the cab, because yes, this would totally happen, Ben. And they're driving, and the taxi driver's like, where to? Do you want to go home to 15 Robin Hood Lane? And Ben's like, yeah, take me home. 15 Robin Hood Lane. Like, doesn't question at all how the taxi driver knows where he lives.
Yeah, this is the creepiest cab driver of all time. Like, low-key, if this wasn't a dream sequence episode, he totally would have been a serial kidnapper or a killer or something.
Okay, is he really the creepiest cab driver? I mean, you've seen Scrooged, right?
Yes, and I've seen, what was the Denzel Washington movie with, like, the killer cab driver guy?
I don't remember. I don't think I saw that one.
Okay, well, it's good. There's like a serial killer and he's like a cab driver.
Oh, okay.
Heather knows the name of it. Heather or anybody, if you know the name of the movie, tweet us at Very Podcast. I'll Google it after when I'm editing the episode together. I'm like, oh, fuck, I should have known that.
Yeah, probably.
But Ben looks down at like the cab driver's license and it says J. Grumby, which I think is Jonas Grumby is the skipper's real name. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, you know what? Has anyone ever told you that you looked like the skipper on Gilligan's Island? And he's like, I don't watch TV. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, kid.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's go to your house and you can pack up your clothes so I can take you somewhere cool. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, let's go somewhere cool. Like, this is so creepy. Like, if it wasn't a dream sequence.
Even though it is like a dream sequence, like I just feel like you don't want to coax kids into like thinking that it's okay to just run off with a cab driver for no reason at all.
That's true.
I don't know. But, I don't know, we didn't give a fuck.
Even if he looks like the skipper from Gilligan's Island.
Like, we didn't give a fuck in the 80s, though. So, like, parents, like, you know what? You let the cab driver take you somewhere cool. Have a nice, fun day with them. Just be home.
Yeah, it's like, whatever, bye.
Just be home by dinner. If you can't be home by dinner, just make sure you're home in time for school tomorrow.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the mom's Winona Ryder from Stranger Things, and she's, like, stringing Christmas lights all around the living room.
Okay.
Low-key, imagine Stranger Things, but Maggie Seaver is Winona Ryder. Ben is Will, the boy who gets kidnapped. And Kirk Cameron is the older brother.
You mean the creepy stalker brother?
Yes. And Tracy Gold is Nancy.
Ew. Why do you always have to make things super weird?
It's not super weird. They're not related in real life.
But still, it's weird.
All right. Moving on. We cut over to, now we're in Ben's room. He's like tossing clothes around and packing up. And he decides that he's going to pack some video games with him. Can I just read off 2 of the titles of the name of video games that he says?
Yes, go for it.
One of the games is called Baloney Pony, which is like a slang term for a penis. Look it up on Urban Dictionary right now.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm terrified.
It's just like a slang term for penis. And the second one, another video game, is called Silent But Deadly, which is just like a silent fart. So you know those fucking writers in that writer room were like, you know what, we gotta have a game called Baloney Pony and another game called Silent But Deadly. I had to play this back and forth like 3 or 4 times. I confirmed it in closed caption. It does come up. It does say Baloney Pony and Silent But Deadly.
Oh my goodness.
So shout out to fucking Growing Pains in 1987 for slipping that into an episode. I love y'all. Whoever wrote this episode, come on the podcast and tell us about it, please. Mm-hmm. So if that's not weird, so Ben's in his room, his window's open, and then all of a sudden the cab driver outside just yells, "Don't forget to pack some underwear," which is just
that's because
a weird thing.
Kids don't like clean underwear, apparently.
All right, but could you imagine you're 9 or 10 years old and there's a grown-ass man outside your house, and
it's so creepy, it's so sketchy.
He's about to take you somewhere, and you just hear him yell, like, "Don't forget to pack your underwear." It's just...
Yeah.
Then Ben decides he's ready to go, and he gets to the top of the stairs. He just throws his luggage down the stairs. He doesn't, like, carry it down the stairs. He just tosses it. It rolls down the stairs. It hits the railing. That's when the family comes home.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Things just take a weird twist. This is like when... If you didn't think it was a dream sequence, you definitely know it's a dream sequence.
Yeah, at that point.
All right, so I think you should take us through what happens.
Ben's getting ready to leave. He's got his suitcase packed with, like, 5 pairs of underwear, like, some toys, his video games. No video game console, but the video games themselves.
Oh, and he has a plush stuffed animal of a cab, of a yellow taxi cab, too.
So that right there should have told you this was a dream sequence.
And because a game called Baloney Pony doesn't exist.
So he's getting ready to leave when the family comes home with Ben in the form of...
Played by Danny Cooksey.
Freaking Budnick from Salute Your Shorts. And the annoying Sam kid from Different Strokes.
Yes, from like the shitty final years of Different Strokes.
Yes. Like they're all, and like the family's just lavishing attention on new Ben.
Yes, and Carol and Mike are like now like infamously getting along. They love each other.
They're like, getting along. They're like, the only thing they fight about is who gets to hang out with Ben.
The longest, I guess.
Yeah, like who's gonna get to do something with him, and
yeah, so
it's just a mess.
So Ben is now, he's confused. He's like, wait, why is Danny Cooksey in my living room? Why is he pretending to be me?
Yeah, like what's this bitch doing here?
Yeah, why are my brother and sister, who usually ignore the fuck out of me, why are they like fighting over my attention? Mm-hmm. So he tries to talk to the family, but his family can't hear him. He's like invisible.
Yeah, he's invisible. They can walk through him.
Yeah, he's like an incorporeal being. Like you can walk right through him like he's a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie offers him ice cream, and he denies the ice cream. He's like, you know what, I don't want to eat ice cream because it's gonna spoil my dinner.
Yeah, like he can talk. If he just had his tonsils out, you can't talk.
And he can like dance and sing. He's very peppy for just like having minor surgery.
Full of energy.
I just had like my wisdom teeth removed like last week, and I was pretty groggy for at least 24 hours.
Yeah.
Until I took my pain meds, and then I was like peppy again. So maybe Ben was there all day, and they gave him some pain meds, and so maybe that's why he was peppy.
Maybe.
Or it was just a fantasy sequence.
Fantasy sequence.
Or was this a fantasy sequence?
Dun dun dun.
All right.
So they love new Ben, and Ben's just like, what the heck? This kid isn't me. He's like really freaking out because, he thinks he's somehow been replaced.
Yeah, so
he's like freaking out, and then all of a sudden it's like they're having ice cream, and the kid like only takes a couple bites, and he's like, well, I'm going to go clean my room and straighten up. And Ben's like, what the heck? That is not how I act.
And then he's like, you know what? Instead of playing video games, maybe we, as a whole family, should play a board game. And everyone's excited to play a board game. So new Ben's like, I'm going to go upstairs and get my favorite game. So regular old-fashioned Ben follows new Ben upstairs. And I guess the Bens can communicate with each other. They're able to communicate.
Yes.
It's like new Ben is like Haley Joel Osment, and regular Ben is like Bruce Willis. He's a ghost, and they're the only two who can communicate with each other. So Ben's like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?"
Yeah, it's like, this is my family. That's my brother. That's my sister. Back off, little redhead boy.
Yeah, and new Ben's like, "Dude, you wished you weren't a Seaver. You were in the hospital. You said, I don't want to be a Seaver anymore, and the gods sent me down to replace you. And now I'm here. You got to leave. You got to pack up and go with that weird Gilligan's Island dude and just disappear. Hop on your baloney pony and get out of town, dude."
So long. You don't need to be a Seaver anymore.
Yeah, so then it's about to get a little violent. So Ben's like, all right, I'm going to fucking deck you in the face right now. So he like swings up for a punch. He's about to hit new Ben smack in the face when suddenly it skips. Like time skips. And now Ben's in the kitchen. It's later on that night. The family's all eating dinner. They're all
eating Chinese food again.
Yeah, it's the night after new Ben's tonsillectomy, and he's able to eat like chicken wings and chicken fingers and pork fried rice.
Yeah.
So now new Ben opens up his fortune cookie, and his thing says you're gonna have like a long lasting life with your family. Like you're gonna get along well and wonderful. And old Ben is pissed. He's like, oh my god. He's like, I can't take this anymore. And everyone proposes a toast to Ben for being the best son/brother ever. And then Ben starts being like, oh my god, I wish I never left the hospital. I wish I got my tonsils out. And that's when like new Ben starts turning pale and gets super nervous because he's, I guess, fading away or something. I don't know.
This is the loophole. This is how Ben gets his life back.
So all you have to do is just say, I wish I never left the hospital, and you'll get your life back.
And like there's this weird thing where like suddenly Maggie and Jason and Mike and Carol can sense other Ben, real Ben.
They're like, do you hear the sound of a small child talking?
A child that we know and we love.
Yeah, that's what Jason's like. It's a familial voice.
It's so Leave It to Beaver cheesy at this point. It's very much Ben's dream.
Ben figures out the way he can get his life back. He has to somehow get back to the hospital. So he runs outside. The cab driver's still there, and he can't take Ben back to the hospital because he's the skipper. I guess his rides are only one way only, so he can't go back. He can only go forward. Yeah,
he's like one way only. But he's been waiting for Ben this whole time for the rest of their journey. So
so Ben's like, fuck it, I'm gonna drive myself to the hospital. So he hops.
Yeah, Ben gets in the cab and drives.
We get like a weird haze where Ben's like being chased by horses, aliens, dinosaurs, some fighter jets, the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes, and a train. Like they're all behind him when he's driving.
Yes, it's fabulous.
We get like a meep noise in there at one point. It's great.
Fabulous.
The first time I watched this, so I was kind of drowsy when I was watching it. So I was like, am I entering a dream sequence myself? I'm like, what the hell is going on? What is this episode? Why is the Roadrunner in it?
It's what a 9-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-old kid would think of what happened when they were driving a car.
Just being chased by all these crazy-ass things.
Yeah.
So Ben now, he somehow finds his way back to the hospital, but the hospital's like dark and foggy now. There's this like scary music playing, and he finds the operating room, and the doctor and the fun nurse are in there, and I guess it's been a long day for them. So Ben's like, all right, you got to do my operation now. I'm ready to take my tonsils out. And the fun nurse is like, oh, I'm beat. We got to leave. We got to go. And Ben hops onto the gurney, and he's like, no. He's like, operate on me. And the gurney like rolls away. And that's when we get like a quick cut, and they're now like wheeling the gurney out of the operating room. And it's like flashback to reality. Ben's waking up.
Yeah.
And he's like, I changed my mind. I want my tonsils out. I'm happy to have my tonsils out. And they're all confused. The family's confused. They're like, it's too late, buddy. Like, you already had them taken out.
Yeah, they're already out. It's okay, cool, kiddo.
And he's
weird
like,
little guy.
And Papa Jason's like, oh, you must have had a weird anesthesia dream. And he starts, like, mansplaining anesthesia dreams to Ben.
Because that's just what Jason Seaver does.
Yeah, he's like, sometimes you're on anesthesia, your fears are manifest to you in the form of nightmares. So...
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks for that PSA. And... I get they're all happy. Ben wants to be a Seaver again, and I don't know. They get like a weird hug it out moment. But before the credits roll, Who rolls by on another gurney going into the OR?
But our favorite little redhead.
Danny Cooksey.
And Ben flips out.
Ben's like, there he is. I gotta get him. He tries to climb out of the gurney to go beat the shit out of him, and the kid is shook. Like Danny Cooksey is scared. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, why is this?
What is going on? He has no clue what's up. He's never seen Ben before in his life.
They must have seen each other in the waiting room. Maybe they were both having their tonsils, and Ben saw him in the waiting room, so he had that image in his mind. This kid is frightened. He's like, why is this like blonde-haired kid like chasing after me now?
It's amazing.
There's an assault in the hospital. Ben has to go to like juvie for a couple of weeks because he beat up a red-haired kid in the hospital right before he was about to get his tonsils removed. And then like it delayed the surgery, and then there was like all these crazy complications.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was great. And the family's like trying to hold them down, but they're not really sure what's going on, so they didn't know what quite to do.
No.
So it's
they're like, we don't know what got into Ben.
Everyone looks so surprised. It was great. I loved it.
Well, because if you think about it, Ben's he's pretty docile. He's not like a violent kid or anything.
No, and it's kind of funny though, because like he's out of anesthesia. You know, you're pretty like groggy and stuff, but he just gets this like second wind, and he just wants to beat the shit out of somebody.
He's just like, that's the kid. That's the kid.
And like Ben's kind of like a violent kid, because I think at one point in the episode, Danny Cooksey as new Ben wants to wear Mike's leather jacket, and it's like his famous leather jacket that he never lets anyone wear.
Yeah.
And Ben's like, come on, Mike. He's like, clock him in the face, deck him for wearing your jacket. And then Mike's like, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to let you have the leather jacket now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like there's like a violent side to Ben.
We probably really didn't see much of the violence between siblings.
I think it's heavily implied in this episode that Ben
yes, it is
a menace to society. So I don't know. Maybe he's like an MMA fighter today. Who knows?
Well, the last time we saw Ben Seaver, he was a real estate developer.
Oh, that's a boring thing. That's a boring thing to go into.
And he was trying to sell the family home.
Well...
And then Mike and Carol convinced him to stop being a greedy little SOB.
Well, didn't they already sell the family home to Mark Cooper from...
Yeah, but then they, like, the new family home.
Oh, the new family home. Growing Pains came back in, like, the mid to late 90s with...
In 2000 with the TV movie.
In 2000? It was that late?
Yeah. It was that late.
No way. I thought it was more
and then 2004 for the second movie.
So, 2004... We still had Growing Pains movies.
That was the last time we had a Growing Pains movie, yes.
All right. I knew there was one. I didn't know there was two, but I didn't know it was that recent.
There was two.
Are they online?
There's the one where they move back to Long Island after Maggie decides that she's going to run for office, so you actually have to, like, live there.
Okay.
And, because she's been working as, like, the press secretary for the local senator. So she, Jason... Ben and
yeah, that's
Chrissy.
The final episode of the series is like she takes that job in DC, right? And they have to move. Yeah, and she's leaving the house and she pulls the picture off the mantle and it says Mike was here behind it.
The last picture it says Mike Seaver was here.
And we get that moment. Then Mark Cooper moves in the next day and we get like 4 seasons of him
not living in that house.
Seaver house. Well, it's only that house for one episode. Right.
Yeah, it's only that house for one episode.
Can we talk about like the weird Twitter conspiracy that I got in like 2 or 3 weeks ago when someone tried to tell me that
like
Hanging with Mr. Cooper was a Growing Pains spinoff, and I was like, I need evidence.
Besides the house.
Because there is a YouTube video. I guess it was a promotion for Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and Mark Curry is like, why are there all these like white people hanging on my wall? And it's the Growing Pains family.
Oh, really?
And Alan Thicke comes in and he explains like what Growing Pains is and that they moved and now the house is yours. But it was a joke. Like it wasn't canon. Because Hanging with Mr. Cooper is not a Growing Pains spinoff.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper does not take place in Long Island. It takes place in Oakland, California.
Yes. And they're like made by different production companies, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
They just happen to be on ABC.
Like they might have one production company and similar, like, because sometimes several will be like
intermingled,
involved.
Is Mr. Cooper made by the same people that made Full House? I kind of always got the impression it was.
Yes, it is.
It's a Jeff Franklin prod.
Yeah.
And I don't think Growing Pains is a Jeff Franklin production.
No.
They just they probably still have the set. Growing Pains was fresh off the air. It was freshly wrapped up.
I think what happened is they do this we've got, I don't know if we did this like in an episode yet, but like if there's a setup and the show is not in production, but they're doing a pilot, instead of building a set for a pilot, they will just redress a set that's already up for the pilot.
To save cash. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the pilot might not get picked up. They don't have to spend all this money on using a set that you'll never see again.
Yeah, you're trying to just like show that this is a show that could work.
Yes.
So like the pilot episode of Cristela from ABC uses the Last Man Standing set for the pilot, which is really trippy because it's so drastically different the way they like dressed it. It's like, whoa.
R.I.P. Cristela.
Mm-hmm. It was a funny show. I liked it.
Come back to us, Cristela. Come back. We're waiting for a second chance.
You know, we've gone over how like shows will reuse old sets.
Yes. Monica's Apartment, you said it was on something?
It was on Two Broke Girls. It was painted like all white. It was weird. Like I just remember sitting there going, there's something so familiar about it. And it wasn't as full of furniture as like on Friends. And so I was like, there's something so familiar about this. Oh my God, it's Monica's Apartment.
Your jaw dropped. Your jaw dropped on the floor and you had to pick it up.
Pretty much.
All right, so that's Growing Pains in a nutshell. I think we definitely probably could have picked a stronger episode of Growing Pains to kick off the series with.
There's always like the Mike Cocaine episode.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll do another special like drug episode, and we'll do the Mike Cocaine episode, or maybe even we'll do like the Matthew Perry gets killed in a car accident one.
Oh, Sandy.
But I don't know. We had to do a dream sequence, so Growing Pains was a good stand-in, and it was a good introduction to, I guess, the series for us.
Yes.
We got to talk about Papa Jason and his mansplaining, and our friend of the show, Jeremy Miller. You
think he's a friend of the show? I think he probably never even listened.
Oh, he's listened. His fiance listened to it, and she played it to Jeremy, and he enjoyed it. He enjoyed his shout out that he got. So I don't know. We got a whole episode of Jeremy this week, so we'll tweet him. We'll add him.
What are we doing next?
So we had something else planned next, but there's a show that's leaving Netflix in like a week, so we had to kind of shuffle our schedule around a bit. So life is in scrambles right now. So next week we're gonna kick off our Thanksgiving season a little early this year. We're getting a little slap happy. Yes. How I Met Your Mother is leaving Netflix. Like,
I think it's going to Hulu though.
Oh, it's going to Hulu?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
We'll do it anyways, just in case.
It feels like almost everything that's leaving Netflix is going to Hulu.
Oh, Hulu is forking up the cash. They want to they want to make some
But you know how I feel about trying to watch stuff off Hulu.
Oh yeah,
it's a chore.
Your Hulu always fucks up on you. It starts things in the middle of the episodes for you.
Yeah, I like if I use it on my phone and Chromecast it's not too bad. But if I try on my laptop, and I can never get it to cast from my laptop.
But Hulu does send us fun tweets, though. I will throw that out there. Yes. So shout out to Hulu and your fun tweets. Keep tweeting us.
If you want to sponsor us, let us know at Very Podcast.
So we're gonna do the Slapsgiving episode of How I Met Your Mother. We're gonna celebrate Thanksgiving.
Slapsgiving.
We're gonna travel. We're gonna go into the time machine and travel back to the early 2000s, which is like a weird thing to say for some reason.
It really is. You know what? Kirk Cameron, if he hadn't gone all like Born Again, could have been Barney Stinson.
Yeah, you could have been Barney Stinson. You could have been what Neil Patrick Harris has now. You could have hosted like the Grammys or whatever it was that Neil Patrick Harris hosted.
Tonys, Emmys, all kinds of stuff.
You could have been on that like Joss Whedon musical web series.
You could have the cutest family on Instagram.
You could have gone to White Castle with Harold and Kumar.
Oh my gosh. Oh yes, please.
So where can you find us? Where can you find us on the internet?
You can find us on Twitter at Very Podcast, on Facebook and Instagram at A Very Special Podcast. Do not fall for imitators.
Yes, that's very important.
And we are online at averyspecialpodcast.com.
Yes, and we have some exciting things coming. The rest of the year is going to be a wild time for us. We have the roadmap to 100. We have it all planned out. So
yes, we're so close, and the 100 should be insane.
Yes, but if you do want to send us requests, tweet us, and we'll add it to the list, and maybe we'll get there.
We'll try to track it down. Sometimes we get requests for stuff that we just cannot find.
Yes, but we still have them on the list though. So It was a Sarah was Sequest. We're still looking for it. If you have a VHS, send us a copy.
Yeah, there's Sequest, there's Buffy, there's Yes Dear.
Yeah, we're looking for it all. We're looking for all of it. But definitely join us next time. And as always,
bye!
Watch the skies.
Find those aliens.